Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And wanted to do this lesson. I came across some strangely but also interesting a video that I actually watched, and it led me to reading this article in particular. And this article was one that inspired me to do this lesson because, it's an example as to why, you have to fear Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, I'm gonna speak on it a bit. The actual video was, I'm sure we're all familiar, right, with how, I think there's even a TV show for it or a series, but it's dealing with people that have strange addictions. And when I saw the videos of a woman whose addiction was to eat cat hair. And so, as they were mentioning in the video, her cat, cats typically groom themselves, right? But they lick themselves and so on to clean themselves. And in this case, you can see the actual visual of her licking the cat, and cleaning the cat, and then I guess indulging in the hair, which is extremely disturbing. But the thing about this is it's not by choice, right? Meaning like it's like a compulsion. And that is, you can think of it like a plague, but it's really like demons that are plaguing this said individual's mind to put upon them such strange urges or, addictions or compulsions, which is a judgment from the Heavenly Father. All right. And that's a very fearful thing to be in. In fact, as I read a couple of these here, you'll see just how bad you could end up, and these are certain niche areas that people don't really consider too much with all the stuff going on in your life, especially those that are involved in a heavy deal of wickedness, right? Sometimes people, you think of judgment and you think of immediate like injury, right? Or immediate death. And it's not always that judgment comes in that form. Sometimes the Lord will hit you with something that's not, like direct pain in a short term, but rather a long-term suffering. And it's something you have to live with, So this here, this is an article from ValleySpringRecovery.com, and it's titled 21 Strange and Unusual Addictions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get straight to the point, right? They give a bit of, like background on like what these things are and so on and so forth. But the first one here is strange and bizarre eating habits. Strange eating habits are defined as the consumption of unimaginable non-food items despite negative consequences. And there's some pretty crazy ones in here. There are numerous cases of people ingesting substances that are uncommon, which are listed below. So one example is dryer sheets, right? Dryer sheets, some people that they love them some dryer sheets. They got to have them a bite. You also have hair right off of cats, right? Like I mentioned in the beginning of this lesson. Drywall, toilet paper, consuming the ashes of a deceased loved one. That's a pretty major one there, right? Consuming the ashes of a deceased loved one. So you can imagine, instead of burying this person, they get cremated, and then eating the ashes of that is somehow something that some people do. Eating rocks, cigarette ashes, glass, right? Some people have this, they want to chew on some glass, which is crazy, but hey, some people actually have to live with that. And in these cases, it's not as simple as just stop. Okay, I'm just going to stop. Like, imagine how strong this compulsion is to where if you're biting glass, it's going to cut the insides of your mouth. You're going to bleed. You're going to feel pain. But this urge is so strong that even that pain is not enough to stop them from doing it again. So it's like a, you want to stop but you can't, and when you try to, the feeling is probably worse, so it's you're stuck in this body or this life or this situation of I guess torture in a way. And the Lord can do that to you. It says the impact of these addictions, including being addicted to eating, on the individuals affected, can be quite concerning. Apart from the potentially harmful effects on their bodies, the risk of developing health issues like cancer, these addictions can consume their lives, making them antisocial and even leading to an extreme state of poverty in some cases. It's not just about the act of people eating, it's about the obsession and compulsion that drives them to consume such unusual items. Now, just for some extra clarity here, right? The definition of compulsion, which I'm sure we all know, but it is defined as the act or state of forcing or being forced to do something. The second definition here is an irresistible urge to behave in a certain way, keyword being irresistible. It's when something is irresistible, you can't resist it, especially against one's conscious wishes. You're forced to do something that you don't want to do, but nobody's physically forcing you to do it, but you're just compelled to. So what is that factor that is forcing you to do it? It's those demons. All right, it's those demons. And so you have low level addiction, then you have higher levels of addiction, and the compulsion is stronger and stronger for them. So the second one here is bizarre body obsessions. And that's the thing. It's not just about, like, some have this for eating, but that's not where it stops. You have bizarre body obsessions, right? You can go into things that are related to physical attractions or sensations, right? Certain things that get done to your body, and people just, they love to have it so. Or that's actually incorrect. Not love, but they can't resist that feeling, even if they don't want it, right? I'm going to give some examples here. So body-related obsessions are another realm of strange addictions that can leave people bewildered. These addictions include compulsive body piercing, body casting, dermatillomania, which is skin picking, so picking at your skin, snorting talcum powder, self-inflicting bee stings. Now, if a bee or a hornet flies by, or a nest, well, nobody stands there, right? Maybe it drops and they all start flying out. Nobody's gonna stand there and get torn up by that, right? Even those that like harvest honey, or if that's the right term, when they go into those beehives and the areas where they have the honeycombs and all of that, they dress up from head to toe in a suit that prevents the bees, when they get on them, from actually touching them. Because getting stung by a bee is not fun. Getting stung by a hornet can be deadly. So nobody wants to go and get stung by a bee, and yet some people are compelled by that feeling of getting stung by a bee. And so much so that they do it. It's self-inflicted. So that's pretty crazy, right? There's one here on unconventional relationships. Let me see if I can just find some examples. Okay, so yeah, with that, they don't really list the examples here, but but you can sort of oh my gosh. So, oh my man, this thing is just pretty bad. There's the fourth section is hygiene related fixations. And it says here, Hygiene-related fixations are another category of strange addictions that can be both puzzling and concerning. Examples include thumb sucking, bathing in bleach, pulling hair out of shower drains, and even hoarding, sniffing, and chewing on dirty diapers. Like, these are, so you start to see how, you know, non-trivial these things are. How like much of an impact this can have on somebody's life. Imagine you trying to go on a date, or you meet somebody, and they're like, yeah, yeah, I like you, you're pretty cool, you're chill. And then one day they find out that you have this addiction. Where are you even gonna get uh um dirty diapers to chew upon or sniff? Or this person that you meet finally comes to your place, and then there's this foul stench, and they accidentally stumble upon a room of dirty diapers. That's and the thing is, like, they're gonna be, oh, whoa, like, they might get spooked or freaked out or disgusted, but on your end, it's not something that you can control. You're like, you just, yeah. So how, you see how hard it makes it to live life like that. Like, imagine, maybe it's not you, but maybe it's your child. Your child is born with a strange addiction like this, and you have to live knowing that this is the case here. Like, these are also forms of judgment that the Heavenly Father can bring, and this is why you fear, or one of the many examples why you fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. People misplace their fear because they don't understand the originator or the origins of it. But if they understood clearly, as we do, that it all comes from one source, which is the Most High, they hopefully there would be a lot less stupidity and wickedness and vanity going on in the world. It says these fixations might not be as extreme as eating plastic bags or bee stings, but they still have their own risks and consequences. Take Evan, 28-year-old, a 28-year-old from Seattle, who has developed a compulsion to pull hair out of shower drains up to 3 times a week. Like, that's pretty crazy. His addiction began following the passing of his father, and has since consumed his life. So, the crazy part about it is, and I'm going to go into a precept here that sort of is similar. But the crazy thing about it is, you can develop an addiction like this. You don't have to be born with this. So the Lord can say, yo, I'm going to plague you and hit you with this kind of addiction. And it can be anything. It can even be something unlawful. And imagine the Heavenly Father putting sending a demon upon you to compel you to do something unlawful. And when I say compel, I mean like you're addicted to doing this. And then how are you gonna fight that? And now you're gonna get judged for it because it's off. Similarly, Keisha, a 22-year-old from Queens, New York, is addicted to hoarding, sniffing, and chewing on soiled diapers. Her addiction began 3 years prior when a friend asked her to dispose of a dirty diaper, but she kept it instead. Uh-oh. That's crazy. 5, ingesting dangerous substances. Let's see. I just want to get to the important part. There's a lot of context around here. It says here, for instance, Bertha was reported to be addicted to drinking nail polish, while a Canadian woman was reported to be addicted to drinking the blood of pigs. The motivations behind these dangerous addictions may vary, but the common denominator is the potential harm they can cause to the individuals involved and those around them. Then there's bodily fluids. Consuming one's own urine is considered one of the most unusual addictions in the world. Carrie, a 53-year-old woman, developed this addiction and even used her urine to clean her teeth. Drinking one's own urine is referred to as urophagia, while these coping mechanisms might provide temporary relief, they can have significant long-term physical and mental health repercussions. Can you imagine that? Like, man, eh, hey, eating soap, right? Eating soap. That's another one here. There's some people that just have that addiction. They got to bite into a fresh bar of soap. Drinking paint, and I don't know what it feels like, you know, but I mean, I you can imagine this. This is just like a wild guess, but imagine having to use the bathroom, for example, whether it's a number one or two, and you can't. Maybe you're in a location you can't. You're driving or something, and you have to hold this, and it's just like, yo, you need to find the nearest restroom, or else science is going. You need to disappear from the country because you're gonna humiliate yourself so badly. You know, like imagine that feel of like that. You're like, yo, I need to find one right now. I need to like let this urge needs to be relieved. Maybe I'm just saying, right? As an example, it could be right. Maybe this is how they feel when they're like, I need to chew on some soiled diapers, or like I need to drink some paint, or bite into a fresh bar of soap. And from your perspective, you may be like, well, just don't do it. That's weird. Imagine that like somebody telling you, hey, you need to use the bathroom, but just don't do it. you know, here your bladder is full to the brim and then some. You can barely even stand up straight, and you need to use the bathroom, but no, you don't use it. I'm just giving an example here, right? I could be totally off. It could not be the case, right? But it could also be something similar in terms of maybe helping uh, somebody not in their situation to try and like get a relative example of maybe what it could possibly feel like. Um, Drinking paint. Drinking paint is another one. Chewing ice. Some people have, and once again, there's like you may say, okay, chewing ice is not that bad, right? Compared to something else, but once again, it's I think the root problem here is in the fact that you don't control this. Sniffing gasoline, that's another thing. Eating hair, right? We read earlier in this case, not just exclusive to cats. Collecting dolls, uh, tanning addiction, eating glass, which is also known as hyalophagia, if I'm pronouncing that right. Body modification. Um, it says people addicted to body modifications sometimes express this addiction through tattooing their eyes, which can lead to blindness and other severe consequences. But they are not able to stop because of the sensation they get from the act, which makes this behavior or this behavioral addiction very dangerous. So that's the flip side of it too, right? Maybe it's not like I have this strong urge that I need to like release something from my body, but maybe it's just like the way you feel when you do this thing is so much, like regular drug addicts. Like you need this thing so you can feel good, and that goodness now becomes the normal, and now you need this sensation so you can feel normal again. Eating chalk is another one. Hoarding, drinking blood, pulling out hair, eating ashes, and this is an interesting one: obsession with death. In a morbid fascination that transcends cultural norms, some individuals develop an unbelievable addiction to the concept of death. This strange habit can manifest in various forms, from frequenting cemeteries to engaging in risky behaviors, and can severely interfere with the addict's daily life. So, and also not just them, but their family, their loved ones, their friends. So you can start to now, hopefully, you start to get the picture of the extent. And this is just, once again, another example of the extent of the judgments of the Heavenly Father. They reach past breaking a leg. They reach past, I don't know, something not going right for you, right? There's some pretty horrific ones out there too. All right. And with that being said, let me get a couple precepts here real quick. I'm going to start off here with the book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And in other words, the reward or the judgment you get is based on the actions you do. Okay. Next, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 31, which the Apostle Paul said it, perfectly, right? It is a fearful thing to fall into the hand or the hands of the living God. And now you see an example why. There are some horrific, brutal judgments out there, but your creativity is nothing. It doesn't even exist in comparison to the Heavenly Father's mind. So when it comes to suffering, right, or even joy, right, but in the context of this lesson, when it comes to suffering or painful judgments, you should understand that the originator, the creator, has an infinite supply of ways to do that. And you don't want to register yourself on that list, okay? Because if you do, then you're cooked. And then it might be literally. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4. And this is the example that I wanted to get. And this is dealing with Nebuchadnezzar. Now, I'm going to jump straight to the point here that I want to target. But you can read the chapter for more context. But this is you can imagine it, or you can say like a curse the Lord put upon Nebuchadnezzar for his pride. And what he did was he gave him the mind of an animal, to where he ate, I'm going to read it here, right? Daniel 4:32, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen. So how cows and bulls and all that eat grass, you're going to be eating that too, just like them. And 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. So that was the judgment that came upon Nebuchadnezzar. Verse 33, the same hour was this thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen. And his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. Right? This is what the Lord did. Physically, you could see this change on him. Right now, it doesn't mean like he, fully transformed into like this half human, half beast. But you can see how the Lord switched up his mind to where he was eating and living like a beast of the field. And it's not like he could do anything about it or control it. But this is an example of how the Lord can put or bring such judgment upon an individual. So keep this in mind, in the way you move, knowing that, one wrong move, you mess with the Lord the wrong way, or you offend, someone that the Lord favors in the wrong way, or you do anything that the Lord does not like, you could end up on the wrong end of a very painful judgment. So anyway, with that, I'm going to end here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.